It just happens it is, yes, it is in the Kidworth ward. It could be in Thurnby, it could be in Dunton or Market Harbour, Little Valley, wherever it is. I'm not really fussed about that, but they need to be deliverable projects. Because if they're not deliverable, we can't give them the money. Already made the recommendation, which is very sensible, is that, you know, then others should be given fair dabs. We've got to move quickly, because if we keep on delaying, then we're going to run out of time, clock's going to be run down, and no one's going to be able to spend any of the money. And that will be extremely disappointing for all of us, that those groups, our residents and our communities, have not been able to benefit from the proceeds of economic growth that have happened over the last few years. That's what I wanted to say, Chair.
Right, thank you. Councillor Bannister, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The point for me is that it appears that the project in Kidworth is, to borrow somebody else's phrase, up and ready, and could be well delivered before the other projects where funds have already been allocated, for example, Lutterworth or Market Harbour. So if you've got something that can be delivered, it's ready to go, it's going to benefit the uniformed youth organisations with all the consequential benefits that entails, and we have healthy reserves to pay for it, then I would support this.
So it's not our place to recommend whether it's approved or not. It's our place to send the comment back to Cabinet, isn't it? Peter?
Yeah, I just want to say, just to remind us all really, I mean, the population is increasing in our district. Every week the population is increasing. And I've said for quite a long time that our community facilities are not keeping up with this. So I tend to agree with Councillor Bannister. Anything that comes along now that is ready will help the situation. The Sea Cadets, for example, in Bourne Astley, which I'm familiar with through, again, civic duties, desperately short of accommodation. And I raised that matter at planning earlier in the week for the Sea Cadets at Bourne Astley to do with another application. So I think anything that's coming forward like this, if we can fund it, I'm supporting to fund it wherever it is, Chairman.
Okay, so before we move on to the next item, anybody else got anything to say?
Yeah.
Councillor Morrow?
First of all, I'd like to know how much this 250,000 is of the project. How much is the project overall? And have you got funding to cover the rest of it, or have the scouts?
Well, I'm not.
I know, have the scouts.
Yeah, but as I understand.
I know you have been involved with the scouts.
Yeah, but I'm not involved. I don't run it now. So as I understand, the outline number off the top of my head, it's about £500,000. And yes, they have got other funding that's been pledged. But I can't give you the exact figure, but there is other funding, and they are actively trying to secure other funds to get the total that they need.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the gentleman over there, Councillor Bannister, Councillor Jones, that if we've got the money, we should give it, but it's just the optics of it, and I'm sure you know what I mean by that.
Yeah,
that's what's upsetting people, that suddenly all this money comes out for Kidworth and it's Councillor King and the leader. That just saying that's what it looks like. I mean, I'm in favour of the scouts. I know they've got planning permission, and I'd like them to have a brand new building, but it's just the way it looks, the way it's been done. It doesn't look good.
Okay. Well, so we just need to discuss then before we move on to the next recommendation down there on the list, what do we want to send back to Cabinet in relation to this particular item? Are we supportive in general of it and have no comments, or are we sending back we're supportive of it in general, but it's up to you? What did you take from it, Sarah? If I may just ask Sarah to run by what she may have taken from the conversation. Just on this particular one. The others, okay. This is the only one that we've got stuck on, really.
So suggest. Perhaps we should say we're generally supportive.
Yeah, generally supportive.
Not going into too much detail.
I think that would be fair to say that we're generally overall supportive of the Cabinet's recommendation to Council is to approve the monies for Kidworth.
Yeah, and note that there may be money available for other communities who come up with oven ready schemes. So,
Subject to decision of council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as long as they're oven ready and they can be presented, finished in time, in a timely fashion.
There is, that's fair.
I'm just, sorry.
Like, we'll be over about this, you know.
Only got to say,
Yeah, of course. It's interesting. Yeah, send it back.
so you're going to work out how much we can give away.
What was that? 35,000 each, wouldn't it?
No,
Well, yes, it's in the MTFS, so, but, you know, you're still,
so that's going as far as.
well, 28.
Yeah, that's a lot of dance.
You've got health reserves. You've got health reserves.
Depends when they put the second money falling.
Ah, golly, that's the description for today. So, apparently, my advice was issued on Oakridge last year. This section 24 notice is the accident comes down, after changes order comes in. But they issued something earlier last year, so councillors and officers are to be minded to be responsible.
Be responsible for the community.
And people are starting to point to this. And I'm starting to go, oh, wait a minute, you're still sovereign until that happens. You know, I'm pushing back quite hard. I'm not flavour of the month in some.
Well, what are they going to do? with it?
Exactly.
You can't take it back.
But yeah, but if you haven't spent it and it's not been paid out,
Yeah.
they can say,
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, how much can we spend?
So,
even if it's allocated, they can say, no, we're actually.
That's why we have to spend it on things on.
So I'm not, is what I'm saying about deliverable, that's why it's so important.
it's getting that contract in place.
Act to Parliament is section 24.
2007 Act or something.
2007.
I think it's something like that. I've got these papers about it. Have a look.
Sorry, I just do a quick Google.
But yeah, that's the power they use it, and it's, but it will be issued straight after the change order comes in, and then,
When's that?
well, draft ones could be, I mean, always, the formal ones could be March, April, and this is what I find really, like, frankly, rude, is that you guys will go through the budget setting process,
Yeah.
27, 28, and then within about 6 weeks, it could be done. So, and that's a discussion I'm going to have. People would be forced that lots of authorities, what they're doing, they're taking what is currently 27, 28 in GFSU, so that's it. Because it's just difficult getting any more growth in. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The recommendation from this panel would be two. Well, number one, to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council in relation to the local economic development regeneration funds, in brackets LEDR, this being the approval of £250,000 additional resource for Kidworth. Being mindful of the previous comments and recommendations made in relation to the local economic development and regeneration fund, which we already previously put, and just to remind everyone of the previous recommendation, the second recommendation to do with that particular fund was that, and I'll reference this, so it's very, very clear. If any of the projects in the four previously identified localities doesn't provide the required evidence and in a timely manner, the panel recommends to Cabinet that projects in other localities be considered.
Yeah, okay.
So the recommendation from this particular item, I'll reference whatever that number is, that.
Can I just take a show of hands? Everybody happy to accept that and move that back to cabinet, that we're happy to go forward with that? Abstaining? You are.
So we covered this earlier, and I'm abstaining on particular points on the LEDR.
Yeah, that's right. So
Now, this recommendation is covering that, I'm abstaining from this.
right, two abstentions.
Two abstentions, councillors.
Jack, just confirm the other recommendations from the other items, as we seem to.
Yeah, we'll keep going to the end. We'll get back to the
Yeah, right with the others, that may,
Yeah, I think we all agreed on this.
could we agree with the other?
yeah, the other ones we just agreed.
Stick them.
Yeah, we'll come back to this in a minute, yeah. So 3.6.
3.6, wasn't it? Next, then 310,000 finance and extension of the surveyor land value of fixed term contract. Oh, yes, this is moving house again.
And parachute costs.
Yes, to cover the costs for parish and town council for the land transfer.
Tell the parish councils they can claim the money from.
Pardon?
Are you going to tell the parish
Yeah,
councils
that will be part of.
you will cover their costs?
Yeah, that will be part of the process, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tell my parish,
Yeah.
they'll be very.
So if they want something from us, transfer of land,
Yeah.
we'll pay the legal.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're saying. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's slightly
But
about the.
if I just clarify that point,
Yeah,
the legal cost will be equivalent to our cost.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a silly figure up. If it was £5,000 legal cost to us, we will give £5,000
Yeah.
to them. If they decided their legal cost was £10,000, we wouldn't pay for £10,000.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So it's equal.
as long as they know that.
That's right.
right, I'll have to give that away from.
Okay. Happy with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm mindful of the time, you know, you've been here a long time, but 3.7. 500,000 to provide a rural grants scheme. I think that does.
Can I ask a question on this?
Oh.
Which is it for? Because on the hierarchy that we have for grant, we have smaller villages and then we have other villages and parish needs. So I'm wondering what we consider as rural. How it's going to be funded.
John, Becky?
It's any of them that are the smaller villages and then other villages, so anything that's allocated either £10,000 or a share of the 5,000 for the share of 40,000, so that's 74 parishes.
Okay. So there is quite a few that can apply for it then. Yeah, I was just really, like, I didn't know if it was just like the really tiny ones that were only getting 5K, but yeah, no, that's fine.
Anybody else, everybody happy with that? So,
So can I just move that? So we're not giving a specific allocation to each community. So basically what this is going to be a global fund.
Yeah.
For those that, are defined as small village or village meetings, and they can then bid in for whatever it says in the question. Yeah. 520K, yeah, that's it. And that's basically to balance up where we were with the previous scheme, where the walls were, unequal.
The 3.8 capital resource of £1 million to deliver a heritage grant scheme. And revenue resource of 50,000 to support delivery of said scheme. David, I'm mindful you've been there since 6:30. I'm very grateful. Oh, yes, for the moment.
I'm hanging on every word, Chairman.
Brilliant. Just as soon as you mentioned your name, you perked up. Do we have any questions for David on the heritage grant scheme? I mean, I think personally, from my point of view, I think it's a great idea.
Can I just ask a quick question on this? There's obviously a lot of the heritage asset buildings are churches. We've got some beautiful churches in the area. I'm just wondering, is this just for like community buildings? Or is it also going to be for businesses and maybe private ownership? Because I imagine that there'll be some great listed buildings that are actually used for businesses or owned by very wealthy people. I'm just a bit like, I really think, cautious. I would like obviously the churches and the assets, heritage assets are so important. But I also am mindful that somebody that's sitting on 8 million living in one of these listed buildings, I don't think they actually would need grant, but may be able to be eligible.
David, you got anything to come back on with that?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks, through you, Chairman. It's really orientated towards the heritage that we have in the district that's at risk. We have quite a lot. You'll see in the appendix, quite a bit of heritage at risk, and we've set the criteria to sort of help retain and enable heritage to be interpreted. So there's quite strict orientation of the grant towards being in the public interest, if I can say that. So yes, some of the heritage assets may be privately owned, but they're in the public realm. So if the criteria are met of safeguarding the integrity of a conservation area, safeguarding the integrity of a listed building that may have social history to it, a famous person may have lived there, then those would be the kind of public interest tests we would apply, so we don't fall into the allegation of you're supporting private assets. There'd need to be a public interest test, and that's the way we've tried to construct the criteria, Chairman, in addition to the at-risk element. Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, David. Okay, Joe.
Yes, thank you very much.
Everybody happy with that one? Any other comments on the heritage one?
You just summarise the recommendations.
So yes, so we'll go back to start of these at 3.1, 3.2, which was the open space strategy. Sterling.
So 3.2 in relation to the open space strategy, my proposal for the agreed recommendation is that to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve a growth budget item of £66,264, including on costs, to allow the recruitment of a green and open spaces compliance officer, in brackets permanent, And that was unanimously agreed. 3.3, which is in relation to the revenue resourcing, £10,000 per annum to be agreed to driver.
Oh, yeah.
Or the new mechanical road sweeper. And the agreed recommendation to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve a revenue resource of £10,000 per annum to recruit a driver for the new mechanical road sweeper, and that was unanimously agreed. And 3.4 is the revenue resource totaling £179,000 over 3 years to finance the voluntary right of the District Council commercial services. Commercial services.
Yeah, commercial. Yeah.
So the agreed recommendation was to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve a revenue resource totaling £179,000 over 3 years to finance the voluntary right of Harbour District commercial services.
It says, council services.
It should say commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that,
Yeah, the DR one.
To the local economic development / regeneration fund. This being the approval of £250,000 additional resource for Kidworth, being the Kidworth. That was number 1. Sorry, number 2. If any of the projects in the 4 previously identified localities doesn't provide the required evidence and in a timely manner, the panel recommends to Cabinet that projects in other localities be considered. And there was an abstention from that recommendation from Councillor Scott.
and that's right. What else is true?
Yeah. So, 3 points.
Land transfer project.
Land transfer project. The agreed recommendation, land transfer project, to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve the revenue resource totaling £310,000 to finance an extension to the surveyor / value of fixed term contract in brackets £50,000 and to meet council and town parish legal costs of £260,000. That was unanimously agreed. Point 7. The recommendation is to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve the revenue resource totaling £500,000 to provide funding for a rural grant scheme to support the rural community. And that was unanimous.
Yeah.
Point 8, the agreed recommendation for the salaries was to support the recommendation from Cabinet to Council to approve the capital resource of £1 million to deliver a heritage grant scheme and revenue resource of £50,000 to support delivery of the scheme. That then was unanimous.
Already happy, thank you very much. So, we have to take a break for going in 3 hours.
Yes, we did.
And then I can do the next item.
Do you think we'll do the next item in 15 minutes, or do you want to take a break to stay for 3 hours? I don't want to fall foul of any quirky constitutional rule.
Like to have the
Just crack on and get it done.
Yeah, I don't think it would take long.
Lovely. Yeah, we'll crack on then without doing. So we'll move on to the final item on the agenda, which is item 8, fourth overview of scrutiny panel, draft work plan and recommendation plans. We all know what it is, reasons for recommendations, both of the panel's work plan for the coming months will facilitate council business and the achievement of the agreed corporate priorities and enable panel members and officers to plan work efficiently. So it's all in there, what we're doing, covered today. Anybody have any comments on the work plan for this panel?
No.
Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday. In 17th September, I think. David, you can go if you like. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
The recommendations, folks, are to review the work plan for 26-27 and current forward plan, determine if any items should be removed. Gives an additional recommendation to determine if any additional items should be considered for the 26-27 work plan. And if they meet the agreed criteria, which is listed on the papers, they will be included on the panel's work plan. And to agree the panel's work plan as there, or if any additions are put in for 26-27. So I think that makes sense. So, shoot forward to the work plan. Anything that anybody wants to add? I think is what we're saying, or anything that you feel we should remove. Obviously, we've done July's, or we will have done in a few minutes. So 17th of September, we've got review of council's preparation for LGR, financial outturn performance Q4 and Q1. I appreciate that Q1's late, but we'll get 1 and 4 in the same meeting. Q4's late. Sorry, Q4's late. Yeah, I get the right way around. And an update from the portfolio holder for strategy.
I think that will be enough for September.
I think that'll be enough for September. Do we want to add anything else to our work plan for September? No. Do we want to add anything else for the meetings of November and March that's on this work plan for this particular panel? Does anybody want to add anything? Take anything out? I think it's quite a broad.
We may need to revisit LGR, so goes on, we'll look at it in September, maybe we'll have another look at it in March.
Yeah, we can always leave it open to briefing on the agenda and bring it back in March for an update from the relevant officer wherever we are.
Chair, considering the discussions about the grant, it's not a grant, it's a history allocation to the funding.
ADRC.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Leadership.
Do we want to review the progress on those projects coming forward in that time frame? Because we have a time element to that.
January time, I would have thought, you want to get the process going, don't you? And then,
I'm expecting a decision in the next few weeks.
yeah, for those decisions, but not everybody will do. So you are going to piecemeal, won't you?
Well, we may wish to, because if other groups want to put their names in the frame, they will want to see what progress is going on. If you leave it too late, they won't have an opportunity.
Yeah, 3 to fail or something, but 2 to fail, good man. But, sorry, very conscious of time, but I'm assuming that you will be scrutinising what Cabinet have agreed.
Yeah.
So my point being, you'll be scrutinised towards the end, not as each one comes through, surely. Cabinet would agree, one there, one
It's identifying the gaps.
Pardon?
Identifying the gaps, the ones that have not come forward.
Yeah, that's what the officers would do with Cabinet. If one didn't come through in a timely manner, the governance process will be, well, I'm making this up. We've got to the end of September. We haven't had this locality X.
Yeah.
We now open it up and there will be then a decision made, probably by a written record of decision, we're going to open it up to others. And then towards the process, you will review.
Yeah.
I can't see the point of you getting a bespoke report for each individual. That can,
What about that is going to trigger?
does that sound reasonable, councillor?
Sorry, through you, Chair. My understanding is if the process is agreed at council on.
Yeah.
That is then what happens. Then there will obviously, I understand, the intention is that once all the bids that, the relative bid, the bids come forward, a report will come to cabinet to say, this is bid X, part of this, and it will be in the public domain. So there won't be in the way the upfront decisions being made, and essentially that's, as I understand what the is going to do. Just in a timely manner as you're recommending, then that's then have to review it and look at how we deal with that. Just depends when that is. We're not expecting there to be, obviously, the forms that's in the tank at the moment will be invited to submit, assuming it's all approved, will be invited to submit by such and such dates. Don't know what that is, because that will be the officers to work out. And then, assuming everything comes in, and then it go from there. Due diligence has got to be done, and then hopefully all won't be dribs and drabs that come through as a joint lot. Put it like that.
No, it's more the problem of at what point do potentials get an opportunity to then start.
So if there's a deadline for the invited participants and they don't submit by the deadline, and there's no prospect.
And that'll be in the public domain, you say?
Well, it won't be in the public domain. Well, the deadline.
The groups who may wish to submit become aware of an opportunity. Well, that's the question.
If say they say councils invited to participate, for some reason you don't submit it in time by the specified deadline, then that's a fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's starting. Then that's it. That's the take place. That's where as to what do we do? Is there another opportunity you brought that way, or is there we have to go somewhere? Okay. I'll give you
No. I'm trying to see what the encouragement must be to anybody who's got a decent idea for a plan, needs to work it up.
Yeah.
Get on.
Well, I've already made the check, we've already stated on the record, I'll say again, if there is a community group, organisation that thinks they should be, due a slice of the cake or something like that, then they need to come forward with a full knowledge that they will have to pretty quickly submit a fully worked up advice, business case, planning consent, etc., to move forward. Explained, I've explained, if section 24 applies, and we then don't have control of the money, then.
For 4 minutes. That's right, very quickly.
Make a suggestion for something that will work. And the revised plans for Tin House Farm,
So that
the
again, sorry.
revised plans for Tin House Farm, that could come to scrutiny.
That one for us, that is the other services committee, that's the other committee. That's for them.
Well, it's not on their work.
That's up for them to ask, it's not for me to ask.
Well, when we had the joint scrutiny, I was told that anything, if they're all that you on our work, it didn't really matter which work.
So, I'm probably not, I don't know.
My brain's essentially that's the services consideration, not a stop corporate, it's not performance, it's not to do with money, it's a services offer, communities offer, but that's where it sits in services.
Sorry, so,
Can I just say that the Services and Communities panel is meeting next week, and one of the items will be to discuss their work plan. So I can recommend from this panel.
They put it on there.
Yeah, that's really, thanks.
is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine, thank you.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, in that case, is there any other business? Oh, sorry, are we happy to agree the work plan as we've got?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, everyone happy? No, yeah, good.
You've got my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
All good?
Yeah.
And at 9:27, there is no other business. Thank you, Mike.
Chairman, I was just going to say something.
I thought we not-
But I'm saying it's very healthy for me to really.
Well, wait, hang on, wait, turn the mics off, I would say. Just in case you do a West Street in next door.
The mic.
Oh, we've been on.